Happy Saturday, everybody, and good morning. Welcome into the January 11th episode of Hoops Talk with Dave. I'm your host, Dave Smith, and we've got a ton to get through here in just about 10 minutes. So bear with me as we fly through a bunch of terrific action recapping from last night and also previewing an incredible day in college basketball. Starting on last night in college basketball, Wisconsin dominating Minnesota, and that might just do it for Minnesota. I think I can confidently eliminate them from at-large contention. The Golden Gophers unable to really get what would have been a massive win for them there. Of course, they came in a big underdog. Wisconsin handles business there. They're sitting right about on the 5 or 6 line right now. It is still early to mid-January, and there's a lot of seed movement that will happen between now and March. But I can confidently say the Minnesota Golden Gophers, your at-large chances are done. And of course, we all know college basketball, you've got the postseason tournaments, so no team is ever officially eliminated because they can win the conference tournaments. When I say eliminated, I mean they have been eliminated from at-large contention. So I say that is at-large contention there. Moving on to the second great college basketball game last night, UCLA on the road losing to Maryland. Terrapins picking up a terrific win that will carry them to Selection Sunday, and that helps Maryland move up from being, they were on the right side of the bubble. They were probably one of the last 8 in or so, and that helps move them up into the 8-9 game conversation, which is terrific for them. That gives them a little bit of breathing room, allows them to maybe stumble once down the stretch and still be in the NCAA tournament. If they would have lost that game, they would have been right on the bubble, but nonetheless, they are, I wouldn't say confidently in right now, but they have some breathing room without a doubt. UCLA, not a bad loss. They moved from maybe being a 6 to a 7, maybe a 7 to an 8, depending on where you look. But I would say UCLA is still a lot of breathing room for them. Not a bad loss without a doubt. And quickly through the NBA here, recapping last night. The Kings defeat the Celtics behind 23 points and 28 rebounds from Domantas Sabonis. Celtics have been struggling as of late. They shoot sub 30% from three again, and this is not the first time they've done that. The Celtics looking a little vulnerable right now. They'll have to watch down the stretch. Of course, they still sit as the favorite to repeat this year. Milwaukee spoiling Paolo Banchero's return. However, he did have 34 points and a 3-point loss for the Magic. Giannis put up 41 to help carry them late in that game. Terrific win for the Bucks. They're starting to piece things together now. The Thunder dominate the Knicks. The Knicks now move to 0-5 against the top 2 teams in both conferences. So you've got the top 2 teams in the East, top 2 teams in the West. The New York Knicks are 0-5 against both of them. And the Thunder, they got up big in this one. They got up big early and ran away with it. They ran away with this one. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, MVP frontrunner, put up 39 points there. The Pacers defeat the Curryless Warriors 108-96. Benedict Mathurin, Pascal Siakam, and Tyrese Halliburton all had at least 20 points and 10 either assists or rebounds, respectively. That doesn't happen very often. See 3 players get 20, 10 games. That happened there for Indiana. I'm really quickly going to touch on the NBA previewing for today because we've got a ton of college basketball action to get to. Today, there's only one real game on the docket now as we've had 3 games postponed. 2 games, the Clippers and Lakers games, both postponed due to the wildfires in Los Angeles. And we just had the Rockets-Hawks game in Atlanta be postponed due to some icy roads there happening, some snowy conditions. But there is one great NBA game, I think, today. The Grizzlies traveling to Minnesota to play the Timberwolves. Ja Morant and the Grizzlies looking great as of late. And even though they've battled a ton of injuries this year, they are still looking like a team to watch come the postseason. The Timberwolves, on the other hand, have looked vulnerable at times behind Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle, and Rudy Gobert. They're still a squad to watch, still a fun team to watch come postseason, but nonetheless, right now, they have looked very vulnerable. And now, let's get to today's day in college basketball. Of course, every Saturday in college basketball is going to provide some incredible games, insane upsets, and just awesome action all day long today. And there is no shortage of it today. I'm going to get through these really quickly as we need to get today started in a great day of college basketball. First up, the Crimson Tide traveling to College Station to face off against Texas A&M, one of 2 top 15 games today in the SEC. This one, 8 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. One note for this one, no Wade Taylor IV tonight for the Aggies. No Wade Taylor, of course, he is a first-team All-SEC caliber player. No Wade Taylor. This didn't stop the Aggies from getting a road win in Oklahoma earlier this week. So still a game to watch there as Alabama travels on the road. The second top 15 SEC game today is the Kentucky Wildcats traveling to Starkville to face off with the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Kentucky has won the last 18 regular season games against the Bulldogs. That's right, the last 18 of them, which is insane to think about how many that is. That's several years that Mississippi State has gone without a win against Kentucky. Nonetheless, the Bulldogs, they look great this year. They are favored in this one. It'll be a fun one to watch. Hey, some top 25 road tests for you here. Florida traveling on the road to Arkansas. Arkansas needs this one. Florida coming off beating down the AP number 1 Tennessee Volunteers. Coach Cal in Arkansas, they could really use this one. They could find themselves outside the tournament here soon in projections if they do not get a win like this. And speaking of Tennessee, they're on the road to travel to play the Longhorns of Texas. And hey, Texas needs this one, too. You've got some 0-2 teams in Arkansas and Texas here in the SEC that really need to get a big win. They've got massive opportunities on their home floor. And another 0-2 SEC team that really needs a win right now, that is the Oklahoma Sooners. They travel on the road to face off against the Georgia Bulldogs. And Georgia, a 6.5-point home favorite. Oklahoma, they could really use this win right now. They choked a big lead against the Texas A&M Aggies. I was go ahead and ready to write that one up as an Oklahoma win earlier this week, but nonetheless, college basketball, incredibly chaotic. That was a fun game down the stretch. They didn't have Wade Taylor in that one either. So A&M, they are a very, very deep team, showing people why they are a top 15 team. Oklahoma really needs to avoid starting 0-3 in SEC play. And now they could really probably go sub 500 in SEC play to still make the NCAA tournament thanks to some incredible road wins, or neutral site wins they had against some top 15 teams in the non-conference, but nonetheless, they really need this one to get back on track. Moving out of the SEC here, you've got Iowa State traveling on the road to Texas Tech, and that's right, number 3, AP number 3, Iowa State. I think they're one of the top 2 teams in the nation. They're an underdog in this game. Texas Tech, a 1.5-point favorite, and Tech currently sitting on the right side of the bubble. And this goes to show you, ladies and gentlemen, how tough it is to go on the road in college basketball. It is not easy in any way, shape, or form, because this line, when I look at it, if you put them on a neutral court, I think you've got Iowa State as a 5-point favorite. But nonetheless, on the road at the Red Raiders, Iowa State an underdog in this one. Tech in danger of falling to be right on the bubble with a loss, but the Cyclones, this is a massive quad 1 opportunity for them as well. I think they would solidify a spot as a 1 seed with the win. Even if they lost, though, I don't think they fall below a 2 seed. UConn on the road at Georgetown. Georgetown, a massive chance to get a marquee win here, and they really haven't looked terrible this year. To be completely honest with you, Georgetown in recent history has not been a great basketball program. Nonetheless, this would be a massive opportunity for Georgetown to really put themselves in that bubble conversation if they can get this one. UConn, a big opportunity for a road win. UConn really sitting right around that 5 seed after going 0-3 in their early season tournaments. Not where we're used to seeing Dan Hurley and the UConn Huskies, but still one that I would not want to face off against. Of course, they're coming off that road loss to Villanova. Moving out to some games on the West Coast this evening. Washington State at Gonzaga. We saw Washington State lose to Pacific a couple of nights ago. Now they get a chance to bounce right back with a massive road win against Gonzaga. Can they do it? I don't think so. Gonzaga 16.5-point favorites in this one. Washington State would be eliminated from at-large contention if they lost this one. 2 more games I want to get through really quickly here. Baylor on the road against the Sun Devils of Arizona State. Arizona State sitting right on the bubble. This result, whether they win or they lose, would tilt the needle in one direction or the other. Baylor safely in the field either way. A win would bump them up to into the 6 or 7 seed conversation. A loss would kind of put them closer to a 9-ish seed, in my opinion. Right now they're sitting right on the border of 7 and 8. So a win would move them a seed line or 2. A loss would move them also a seed line or 2. Arizona State, this one would kind of decide whether or not they're projected in the field or out of the field right now. And finally, I want to finish this off with the mid-major game of the day tonight out there on the West Coast. UC San Diego facing off against UC Irvine. Both these teams come in at 14-2. The winner gains the automatic qualifier projection and sole control of the Big West, controlling their destiny for the 1 seed in the Big West tournament. This is a fantastic game. These 2 teams, if they played in different conferences, would probably be projected in the field because they are very loaded on talent, very deep, very fun teams to watch. They've got some great non-conference results as well. The winner of this conference would be an 11 seed, probably, in my opinion, I think. At least a 12. I would at least a 12 seed, depending on how things shape up. Bid stealer-wise, they'd be at least a 12. But I wouldn't want to face either of these if I were a 5 seed in the first round of the tournament, because these two teams are extremely fun to watch. They get up and down the floor. They play really tough basketball, really tough defense. And so I wouldn't want to face off against either of these. So if you're looking to scout out some Cinderellas come March, tonight's game between UC San Diego and UC Irvine will be one to watch. And that will do it for today's episode of Hoops Talk with Dave, a sprint through a ton of great college basketball action today. Incredible stuff to watch. It's going to be a fun day of college basketball and some fun coming in the NBA over the next few days as well. We'll get to that, and we'll preview tomorrow's action and recap today's action in a great day of college basketball on Hoops Talk with Dave. I'm your host, Dave Smith. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Thanks for being here with us.